On her wedding day, our girl's hubby literally yeeted himself into a lake. For another woman? And all the guests? They were just looking at her like she was the main character in some tragic rom-com. Our queen stood in that wedding hall for a whole 3 hours, until the red candles were just tiny little nubs. Then her dad showed up. He didn't spare a glance for anyone else, just gently lifted her veil. Come on, sweetie, you're coming home with dad. Those 10 li of red wedding finery, sent straight back the way they came. That night, General Xiao Se finally returned completely drenched. He stared at the empty bridal chamber, frozen in place like a simp-coated deer in headlights. Word on the street is he knelt outside Taifu Manor all night, absolutely wrecking his knees. Good. Her dad sent back one message. You want to marry my daughter? In your next life, maybe. By then, the red candles had burned halfway down, their wax piled up like a tiny mountain. Our queen's veil felt impossibly heavy. The gold-embroidered phoenix on her head was pressing down, making her neck ache. The wedding hall was eerily silent, but it was a silence mixed with a whole lot of schadenfreude. She could hear the hushed whispers of the guests, buzzing around her like 1,000 mosquitoes. 3 hours, and General Xiao Se still hadn't come back. For some other girl he'd abandoned his own wedding. Seriously? Taifu Manor's reputation, completely gone, but honestly it was more than just face. Like they carried those 10 li of red dowry all the way from Nanchung to Beicheng, only for the groom to ghost! Our girl stood there, frozen, body completely numb. Today was supposed to be the happiest day for her and Xiao She. Just an hour ago, they were getting ready for the 3 fibozis and 9 kowtows. The ceremony official's booming voice still echoed throughout General Manor. Then a frantic servant came crawling in, screaming that Miss Liu Yuner had fallen into Qixinghu behind the manor. Our queen felt Xiao Xi's body stiffen for a second. He didn't even look back at her, not a single hesitation. His red robes just whooshed past, a blur, as he bolted out like a tornado, sweeping away all the joy in the hall and, well, all of her dignity too. Liu Yuner, his childhood sweetheart, his cousin, raised right there in General Manor. You know the type, always in white, soft-spoken. Oh, the wind just knocked me over. Kinda green tea bitch. But just before Xiao Tse ran out, our queen had glimpsed through the tiny gap in her veil. She saw her clearly. Liu Yuner was standing in a quiet corner away from the noisy guests, staring directly at her. And in those eyes, zero sickness. Just pure cold taunting provocation. Then she turned, walked towards the backyard, and then came the news about her falling into the water. Coincidence? I think not. The guests in the wedding hall went from initial shock to hushed whispers, and now, full-on unashamed popcorn-worthy drama faces. Xiao Se's mother, her soon-to-be mother-in-law, finally couldn't sit still anymore. She strode right up to our queen. Her voice, full of impatience and dripping with bitterness. Han Yue, you're a young lady from a good family. You should know better. Yuner, that child is so frail. She just rushed here to drink your wedding wine, and then this happened. It's only right for Xiao Tse to go save her. What kind of spectacle are you making standing here? You're just making everyone laugh at you. Our girl's throat felt like it was choked by a hot coal. She couldn't utter a single word. Sensible! At my own wedding, my husband abandoned me to go save another woman, and I should be sensible? He risked himself for another woman, while she stood there like an idiot in this ridiculous veil, enduring everyone's pointing and ridicule. Why aren't you lifting your own veil already? Do you expect Xiao Se to come back and do it for you? Seeing our queen didn't budge, her tone got even nastier. Stop acting like you're still the precious young lady of Taifu Manor. You've entered my general manor, so you'll follow our rules. Her dad had taught her manners and rules since she was a kid. 18 years of learning rules and propriety, only for it all to be shredded in the most humiliating way possible, on her own wedding day. Her hands clenched at her sides, gripped her robes so tight her nails dug into her flesh. She could not fall, not now. A daughter of the Shen family would not crumble here. Another segment of the candle burned down. Half the guests had already left the wedding hall. The rest were just staying to watch the final act, to see the joke play out completely. Xiaoxi's mother had already retreated to the back hall to rest, but not before throwing one last barb, truly, utterly insensible. In the vast empty hall, only she remained, surrounded by her 1,000 gold dowry, which now felt unbelievably ironic. Just as our girl was about to completely shatter, a commotion erupted outside the door. A figure backlit strode in. His face held an intimidating authority, devoid of any expression. It was her dad, the grand tutor of the current dynasty Shen Jing. The moment he stepped in, his gaze landed directly on our FL. Everyone held their breath, waiting to see how the grand tutor would handle this hot mess. Would he scold his senseless daughter, or humble himself, apologize for the general's estate, and beg for a peaceful resolution? Her dad didn't say a word. He just gently raised his hand and lifted her red bridal veil. The moment that veil came off, the tears she'd held back for hours finally broke free. She looked into her father's eyes that had read countless memorials and understood the world's harshness. There was no blame, no disappointment, just an overwhelming, sky-high heartache. "Daughter, come home with your father." His voice was as steady as ever, but with a never-before-heard tremor. She couldn't hold it in anymore. Her tears just burst. He said nothing further, only turned and gave a second command to the Shen family guards behind him. "Bring the young lady's dowry back, every single item. Don't leave anything behind." "Yes, sir." The reply wasn't loud, but it echoed clearly through every corner of the wedding hall. The guards immediately sprang into action, carrying out every single red wooden chest adorned with double happiness characters. Their movements were swift, decisive, and without a hint of hesitation. All the guests were dumbfounded. This wasn't resolving it smoothly, this was straight up blowing up the whole wedding. Her legendary 10-mile-long red dowry procession being carried back intact, that was a public humiliation way worse than any beating. This was basically telling the entire capital city, my Shen family's daughter? Yeah, she's not getting married anymore, period. She followed her father step by step, out of the hall. The moment she walked out of the wedding hall's main doors, her back straightened, regal and unyielding. The wind dried the tears on her face and with them blew away her very last illusion about Xiaosa. From North City to South City, as magnificent as it had arrived, so resolutely did it depart. The trail of red on the road was like a long, bloody wound, etched deep into the capital's twilight. By the time they returned to the Grand Tutor's estate, it was pitch black, and the servants stood silently on either side. Her father dismissed everyone, and personally escorted her back to her boudoir. Everything in the room was exactly as it had been before she was married. Her father poured her a hot cup of tea, watching her take small sips. "You don't need to dwell on it, daughter. This isn't your fault." She held the warm teacup, shaking her head. "Father, I know I'm not wrong, but I've become the laughingstock of the entire capital. Anyone who dares to laugh, your father will make sure they never laugh again. My daughter, Shenjing's daughter, will have protection her entire life, even if she never marries. No one will ever bully her." A warmth bloomed in her heart, but she also knew things weren't that simple. The Xiao family is the head of all military generals holding immense power. For us to do this, military power is granted by His Majesty. Today he can abandon my daughter at her wedding. Tomorrow he could abandon the emperor. Can His Majesty truly feel at ease employing such a person? She immediately understood her father's meaning. This was no longer just about the honor of two families. The very next morning, Xiao Tao rushed in. "General Xiao is kneeling outside our estate gate." Her hand, mid-brush, froze. She asked when he started. They say the old general, furious, gave him dozens of military floggings. After that, he rushed straight to our estate gate, covered in injuries. He's been kneeling there since midnight until now. She looked at herself in the mirror. There was no anticipation left in her eyes, only a stillness like cold ashes. She just felt it was utterly ridiculous. If only he'd known. Did he really think this pity play could erase the humiliation she suffered, or soften her father's heart? Bro, come on! He understood her father too little, and her even less. For someone who had already died once, her father showed no reaction all morning, as if the person kneeling outside simply didn't exist. It wasn't until afternoon that the steward rushed in to report, "Master, someone from the palace has arrived. They say His Majesty invites you and General Xiao, who is outside, to enter the palace for an audience." Her father finally put down the brush in his hand and gave his first order concerning Xiao Tse. "If he wants to marry my daughter, tell him to try in his next life." Inside the imperial study, the air was so cold it could freeze over. His Majesty sat high on the dragon throne, looking down at the two kneeling officials below, one civil, one military. Xiao Xia's forehead hit the cold, hard tiles, his voice hoarse with regret. "Oh, now you regret it? Your Majesty, 1,000 mistakes, 10,000 mistakes, they are all my fault. I'm willing to accept any punishment. I just beg your Majesty and Grand Tutor for one more chance to make amends for my wrongs." He really humbled himself, and it sounded super responsible. But honey, that responsibility shipped way too late. You left our queen, the Grand Tutor's daughter, waiting in the wedding hall for 3 kanzo, making her and her family the laughingstock of the entire capital city. "You are truly foolish." His Majesty then turned to my father. "Minister Shen, I know you've got some pent-up anger, but if your two families become enemies over this, it won't benefit the court. This is a typical imperial mind game, right? If it were anyone else, they probably would have just gone with the flow. But my father is Shenjing. Your Majesty, this old subject only has this one precious daughter." This old subject thought he had found her a reliable man to lean on, but LOL, this trash man, for another woman, threw her away like literal garbage. This old subject begs to ask your Majesty, if someone can easily betray their sworn wife, how can you possibly believe he won't abandon the very cities and people he's meant to protect later on? The moment those words dropped, the entire imperial study froze. Xiaose's face went white as a ghost, and he couldn't even mutter a single word in defense. Because everything my father said was pure, unadulterated truth that hit deep, and you just can't argue with that logic. Even His Majesty's face turned seriously ugly. You may withdraw. Go think long and hard about how you're gonna beg for forgiveness from Grand Tutor and a girl, young Lady Shen. I'm officially washing my hands of this whole mess. Xiaos, looking utterly broken and soulless, was practically dragged out by the eunuch. By the time my father returned from the palace, it was already dusk. He recounted everything that had gone down in the imperial study to yours truly. Han Yue, today your father said some very heavy things in front of His Majesty, cutting off any and all possibility between you and Xiao Tse. Do you blame your old man? I shook my head, then reached out to pour him another cup of hot tea. Father, you absolutely did the right thing. Your daughter totally gets it now. Getting married isn't the only path for a woman, you know? From now on, your daughter just wants to stay by your side and help share your burdens. In that moment, I saw my father's eyes redden, probably from all the emotional damage from that palace confrontation. The whole scandal about Grand Tutor's mansion and General's mansion calling off the engagement, yeah. That became a capital-wide taboo topic no one dared to breathe a word about. Everyone knew the Grand Tutor was absolutely livid, not even giving face to His Majesty. As for Xiao Tse, from that day on, he completely vanished from public sight. Poof! Rumor has it, he got grounded by the old general, forced to spend his days at home repenting. My life seemed to finally be getting back on track too. Every morning, I'd have breakfast with my father, then head to the study to help him organize all the memorials and official documents. I read super fast and learned even faster. My father never avoided me when handling state affairs. In fact, he even casually gave me some pointers here and there. Those peaceful and fulfilling days almost made me forget the man named Xiao Sei and that whole nightmare of an engagement, almost. But you know how it is. Beneath every calm surface, there are always sneaky undercurrents brewing. One day, I was busy organizing the list of dowry items from that disastrous engagement. Xiao Tao burst in from outside, her face looking a little sus. Young lady, outside there are some rumors about you, saying, let me guess, they're saying I'm jealous? Or that I'm just riding my father's coattails, giving no face to the general's mansion? Young lady, how did you know? Xiao Dao stared at me, dumbfounded. I just calmly put down my brush and gave a tiny knowing smirk. For the past half-month, I've been secretly collecting all the tea on the general's mansion. I know Xiao Tse was grounded, but get this. Lu Yetru, the green tea bitch, was adopted as a goddaughter by Xiao Tse's mom. I'm sorry, what? This is clearly a provocation against me, and against the entire Grand Tutor's mansion. They're out here saying that I was the one who deliberately provoked Lu Yetru on the wedding day, and that's why she momentarily got emotional, slipped, and fell into the water. Gag me. This is literally gaslighting. We can't just let them casually drag your name through the mud like this. Xiao Tao's face was beet red with anger. I just patted her hand to calm her down, then picked up my account book. Let them talk, I said. The more trash talk they spew now, the harder those face slaps are gonna hit later. Period. My gaze just happened to land on a particular page in the account book. Listed right there was a 12-piece divine flower white porcelain tea set. This was a precious treasure my mama left just for me. I distinctly remembered Xiao Tse once casually mentioning that Lu Yetru adores white porcelain. A cold, calculating smirk slowly curved the corners of my lips. Xiao Dao honey, go to the storage. Bring out that 12-piece flower tea set. We're selling it. But miss, this is a cherished item your late madam left you. How could you ever sell it? I want to host a grand treasure appreciation gala. We'll invite all the high society madams and all the it girls of the capital. Xiao Dao, our resident genius, immediately caught onto my master plan. I'm about to use this treasure appraisal gala to put Lu Yetru and the general's residence on blast. Let's see if that green tea bitch will be able to resist her dream tea set, and if she'll manipulate Xiao Sei into buying it for her. The news of the Grand Tutor's residence hosting a treasure appraisal gala hit the capital's high society like a bomb, sending shockwaves through every noble lady's salon. And wouldn't you know it, the general's residence also got the memo. A greedy glittering light immediately flared in Lu Yetru's eyes. Oh, she wants it. She wanted that tea set, not just for its exquisite beauty and insane value, but especially because it once belonged to our girl. If she could get Xiao Sei to personally buy it and gift it to her, that would be the ultimate power move, the biggest slap in my face and her greatest victory. That entire day, Lu Yetru was practically buzzing with anticipation, a total mess. That evening, when Xiao Sei came to visit her, she was already strategically positioned by the window, shedding delicate tears under the soft, flickering lamplight. Yetru, my love, what's got you so upset? Xiao Sei's voice was laced with a hint of concern, and a heavy dose of bro, I'm tired. I'm fine, my love. It's just, I heard some rumors out there and I just feel so sad for Han Yue Jiji. I heard that Han Yue Jie has to sell her own mother's precious keepsakes. And among them, is that super cherished white porcelain tea set she loves more than anything. Her words were like 1,000 tiny needles, expertly pricking at Xiaose's heart. He knew our queen was doing all this just to make a statement to him. I just think such a priceless item. If it falls into the hands of some uncultured rando merchants who don't appreciate its true worth, it would be such a tragedy. She didn't say it outright, but trust us, every single word was dripping with hidden agenda. Xiaose gazed at her face, practically oozing longing. He struggled internally, probably thinking, is it worth it, bro? Finally he sighed, closed his eyes, and gave a tired nod. On the day of the treasure appraisal gala, I will be there. The treasure appraisal gala was held at the elegant Xihua Ting. Our FL didn't take the host's seat. Instead, she gracefully floated through the pavilion, personally pouring tea for the guests. Our girl's demeanor was perfectly composed, even sporting a faint, almost ethereal smile. But to everyone watching, it transformed into an image of heartbreaking resilience. A true girl boss moving through her pain. Oh, the Grand Tutor's young miss has truly become so much more serene. Right? After everything she's been through to be this poised? Iconic. Look, she's wasted away so much, it just makes your heart ache for her. An exquisitely carved sandalwood stand proudly displayed all the precious items up for sale today. Every single piece was insanely valuable, but just like our girl predicted, everyone's eyes were inevitably drawn to that specific tea set. OMG, is this the legendary 12 Divine Flower set? The rumors are true. Truly a treasure beyond compare, an absolute rare gem. Such a treasure. Can Han Yue young miss really bear to part with it? And just as everyone was hyper-fixated on the tea set, a booming announcement from the entrance ripped through the air. The general's residence. General Xiaoce has arrived. The excited chatter and commotion in the Xihua Ting instantly hit the pause button. Silence. Every single pair of eyes in the pavilion snapped simultaneously towards the entrance. There stood Xiaoce, a solitary figure, looking utterly out of place amidst the lavish splendor and intoxicating fragrance of Xihua Ting. His gaze swept over all the astonished faces, before finally landing squarely on our girl. After a beat of pregnant silence, the guests erupted into a furious cacophony of whispers and gossip. Why is he even here? Does he seriously have the gall to show his face? Look at him. He's probably here to beg Han Yue young miss for forgiveness. The audacity. Our girl calmly stepped forward and executed a perfectly... Oh, look who it is. General Xiao, what brings you here? Xiaoce looked like he had a million things to say, but they all got stuck in his throat. Not a single word came out. Your girl didn't even wait for a reply before turning to the butler. Bring General Xiao a seat and a cup of tea, she commanded. Yes, young miss. The butler, a true legend, immediately brought a chair and placed it at the lowest possible position. With everyone's eyes on him, Xiaoce slowly took his seat. Talk about public humiliation. He endured the entire hall's judging stares. Our queen knew her first move was a checkmate. She didn't even spare Xiaoci another glance. The main event of the appreciation ceremony quickly arrived. Our girl personally walked over to the 12 floral deity tea set. She signaled to Xiao Dao, her trusted maid, who carefully picked up a teacup. The fragrant floral branches looked like they were about to bloom right out of it. My late mother absolutely adored plum blossoms, and this cup was her favorite. She always said a woman should be like a plum blossom, unafraid of the cold, standing tall on the branch. Only then can her true fragrance spread far and wide. Such a treasure, it's a pity, but now it needs to find a new, worthy owner. This tea set starts at 5,000 taels of silver. I intend for its price to soar so high that only a select few can even think of affording it. For example, someone like the general, who just won a war and received countless rewards. Everyone's wondering if this general, who abandoned his fiancée for his red-faced confidante, will really throw money around like trash for that woman. Xiaoce's face was beyond ugly, but finally with great effort, he stood up. I'll offer 6,000 centales. In front of me, this dude just brazenly bought my mother's keepsake to give to another woman. The audacity. Hua Ting was so silent, you could hear a pin drop. The tension was thick. Our girl finally spoke up. Since General Xiao's so sincere, then this 12 floral deity tea set is all yours. I signaled to Shu Dao to wrap up the tea set. Xiaoce snatched the ornamental box from the servant's hands and practically ran out of there in a panic. Bro's truly gone mad. For a woman, he threw all his face away. The whispers buzzed. Amidst the rising murmurs, our queen raised the bank draft in her hand. The total amount collected from today's appreciation ceremony is 9,300 taels. I've decided to use every single tael of this money, without keeping a single coin, to donate to the CN Charity Hall. Everyone in the room just stared at her, stunned, speechless. Our girl formally handed the bank draft to the head of the Imperial City's CN Charity Hall. The head of the hall excitedly grasped her hand. Oh, young Miss Shen, your kindness, this old one, on behalf of all the orphans and widows, thanks you for your immense generosity. Your girl used Xiaoce's 6,000 taels to buy back her pristine reputation, while he just bought himself an eternal stain he could never wipe clean. When Xiaoce returned to the general's manor, It was late. The brocade box in his hand felt like 1,000 caddies, making every step incredibly difficult. Lu Yueru heard the noise and immediately turned around, beaming with joy. Xiao Geg, you're back. You really bought it. She rushed forward, reaching out to take the ornamental box. Xiao Sei stood still, letting her take the ornamental box. Lu Yueru treated it like the greatest treasure, carefully placing the ornamental box on the table and opening it. Xiao Geg, thank you. I knew in your heart I'm the one you love the most. On Xiao Sei's face, however, only emptiness and exhaustion remained. Xiao Gage, what's wrong? Did Shen Han Yue give you trouble again? Xiao Sei saw the undisguised possessiveness in her eyes, and slowly, he recounted everything that had happened at the appreciation ceremony. The joy on Lu Yueru's face vanished, replaced by uncontrollable fury. How dare she do that? She's humiliating me. How could you just let her do that? You should have stopped her. What standing did I have to stop something you cared about? Was it just about this tea set? Was it just about your own face? I've suffered so much injustice for you. I just wanted a gift from you. Is that so wrong? Hearing her twisted, blame-shifting cries, the last sliver of warmth in Xiao Xi's heart completely froze over. Unlike the gloomy general's manor, the Grand Tutor's manor was quiet and peaceful that night. My father and I sat facing each other, and he said, "What you did at the treasure appraisal conference, my girl, was simply chef's kiss." Retreating to advance, our queen used Xiao's coins to buy herself a glow-up reputation. Talk about 5D chess. Your daughter only learned a little bit from her brilliant father, I replied, humble bragging a little. Xiaozi, if this man wants to put on a whole drama about raging for his beauty, how could I not give him the main stage, right? My father then thought, this girl's mind is deeper than I ever imagined. While brilliant, this move also means pushing the Xiao father and son straight to their doom. But that's not something my daughter should worry about. If Xiao Tse can abandon the national good for some personal romantic drama, then he absolutely deserves to face these consequences. Period. Hearing this, my father gazed at me profoundly, his eyes filled with admiration, mixed with a complex sigh of emotion. My child, you've grown up now. Whatever you want to do in the future, just go for it with full force. Even if the sky falls down, your father will always have your back. Dad goals. And just like that, my father and I reached a new level of mutual understanding. The next day, an imperial edict from the emperor arrived from the palace, proclaiming, by the mandate of heaven, the emperor decrees, the Grand Tutor's daughter, Shen Hanyu, possesses a gentle temperament and upright virtue. To commend her virtue, she is hereby specially appointed as Princess Anhe with a true fiefdom of 300 households, no mere empty title. After the edict was read, the entire hall fell silent. Everyone present was absolutely gobsmacked by this immense imperial favor. This was an official title, with real power and a true fiefdom, and let me tell you, it was the biggest, loudest slap, right across the general's manor's face. I raised both hands over my head. Your humble subject, Shen Hanyue, thanks your majesty for this great grace. My voice was calm and steady like a queen who just secured her bag. This imperial edict, our trash ex Xiao Tse basically handed it to me. He used his own stupidity and utter lack of class to push me right up the ladder. Thanks for the boost, loser. From now on, he and I are no longer mere rivals. We're clouds and mud. We're on entirely different planes of existence. Meanwhile, back at the general's manor ancestral hall, Xiao Sei had been kneeling all night. His knees were already numb, but that pain was nothing compared to the torment and regret festering in his heart. Old General Xiao Zhen stood before him, and just then, a eunuch from the palace arrived, carrying yet another imperial edict. General Xiao received the imperial decree. Both Xiao Zhen and Xiao Si's hearts sank simultaneously as they knelt to receive the decree. General suppressing the nation, Xiao Si has recently behaved recklessly and displayed poor virtue, disappointing our expectations. From this day forth, he is dismissed from his post as deputy commander of the northern garrison. Let this subject receive our decree. Xiao Si, however, was utterly frozen stiff, kneeling there like a solstice statue. His brain cell count just went down even further. After a very long silence, old General Xiao Zhen slowly spoke. The imperial edict. You've heard it clearly. From today, you are no longer the deputy commander of the northern garrison. Do you even grasp what this truly means? Xiao Tse didn't reply. Of course he understood. He knew all his hard work and scheming had just gone straight down the drain. Poof! Go figure things out for yourself. The old general dragged his weary feet, turning and leaving the vast ancestral hall, leaving Xiao Xie utterly alone. He knelt before the ancestral tablets, clutching the chilling imperial edict in his hand. He had lost completely, utterly, and miserably. A few days later, I prepared my carriage, bringing Shen Bo and a group of guards to Chantong, located in the west of the city. Before heading out, I had someone deliver the money earned from the treasure appraisal conference. Xiantong was a charity established by the imperial court, specifically for taking in orphans and the families of soldiers who had sacrificed their lives. For many years, even with imperial funding, the allocations were always meager, and life remained a constant struggle for them. The head of Qiantong was an old woman with completely white hair, whom everyone called Qi Ma. She had once been a female medic in the army, and both her husband and son had fallen defending the northern border. After that she remained here, caring for all those who shared similar tragic fates. When she saw me, she was first stunned, then led a group of children and women, about to kneel in reverence. I quickly stepped forward to help her up. No, Qi Ma, don't do that. Qi Ma, absolutely not. Shen Han Yue is here today not as Princess Anhe, but as a humble descendant, coming to pay respects to the heroes who sacrificed their lives for our nation. My sincere words immediately bridged the gap between us. I had Shenbo bring out the account books, and with Qi Ma, I sat in the main hall to cross-reference every single expenditure and usage record of Qiantong. Qi Ma, please don't worry. From today onwards, all the basic living expenses for Qiantong, for coal, firewood, and rice, will be fully borne by your Princess Anhe, me. Qi Ma was so incredibly moved that her entire body trembled, unable to utter a single complete sentence. She then led all the women and children behind her, bowing deeply. This one bow, it hits harder than any formal worship ever could. Winter came early to the general's manor, and Liu Yanu's winning streak? Yeah, that wasn't looking so hot anymore. Like hell she was giving up. After all the schemes she cooked up, how could she possibly fail at the finish line? So, she's back with a bowl of ginseng soup, lurking outside the ancestral hall. Let me in, I brought soup for my dearest Xiao Gi. He's not well, he needs to eat, like, right now. No orders from the old general, no one enters, period. Show some sympathy. If Xiao Ge gets sick from hunger, are you going to take responsibility? Then, a voice dripping with pure rage cut through the air, right behind her. You still have the ODTs to show your face here, you walking bad omen? Mother. I'm just worried about Xiao Jeg. Shut your fox spirit mouth. Xiao Furen snatched the soup bowl from Liu Yanu's hand and yeeted it, then pointed right in her face and unleashed a torrent of curses. Talk about a boss move. Liu Yanu's face went white from the verbal lashing, but deep down that stubborn streak in her bones, oh, it just got activated. How could mother say such things to me? Just because Xiao Jege is having trouble, you're going to dump all the blame on a weak, defenseless girl like me? Xiao Furen was literally shaking with rage. You dare talk back? Get out of this general's manor right now. I'm carrying the Xiao family's bloodline in my belly. If you kick me out, you're kicking out your own grandchild. That one sentence? It hit Xiao Furen like a lightning bolt, freezing her solid on the spot. Meanwhile, inside the ancestral hall, Xiao Sa's world was spinning. A mouthful of bitter blood surged up his throat. The pure white moonlight he thought he knew, turns out she was just a venomous woman, spitting nothing but lies. Send word. From this moment on, Liu Yanu is forbidden from setting foot within half a step of this ancestral hall. As for me, Xiao Sa, in this life and the next, all ties of affection and duty with her are hereby severed. We are done. Xiao Sa's declaration of cutting all ties reached Liu Yanu's ears, and every single expression on her face just froze. Xiao Sa's absolute, unwavering stance snapped Xiao Furen back to reality. Whatever truth or lies Liu Yanu was peddling, it was crystal clear. Her son loathed her to the core. Someone, lock this lying witch in the woodshed in the back courtyard, now! Liu Yanu tried to struggle, but two servants dragged her away without an ounce of mercy. No, don't, madam, please, let me explain. And of course, the juicy tea eventually made its way to me. I was at the Qiantong, busy with a few literate women, organizing a fresh delivery of fabric and medicines. Xiao Dao, my personal news anchor, was practically vibrating as she gave me the full dramatic rundown of everything that went down at the general's manor. Young miss, this is truly the definition of karma finally catching up. That Liu Yeru finally got her just desserts. I just gave him a tiny unbothered smile, flipped to the next page of the ledger, and offered zero comments. Honestly, Xiaosa, Liu Yuannu, their whole love-hate saga, to me it's ancient history, like something from a past life I barely remember. In the days that followed, I poured every ounce of my energy into the Qiantong. I taught the kids to read and write, and the ladies some sewing skills to help support their families. I even got the best craftsmen in the capital to fix up Qiantong's dilapidated buildings. Soon the reputation of Anhe Xiangjun, a name synonymous with genuine warmth, became known and praised by everyone in the capital. That afternoon, right after I got back to the manor from Qiantong, father immediately summoned me to his study. His face was more serious than usual, which meant, uh-oh. Hanwei, someone just came from the palace. This is for you. The Empress has sent an invitation, requesting your presence at the Chrysanthemum Appreciation Banquet in Kunning Palace, 3 days from now. I took the invitation, and my heart gave a subtle thump. This wasn't just any invitation. It was an official response from the ruler of the Inner Palace. For everything I've accomplished, this was also a major signal. It meant I was about to step into the most powerful and most dangerous social circle in the entire world. This wasn't going to be some average royal tea party. Oh no. My father looked at me, his gaze deep and knowing. The Empress is the true master of the six palaces. Her attitude towards you will literally dictate your standing among the noble ladies of the capital. This trip, gotta watch every single word and move, honey. Your girl gets it. Our girl clutched that invitation like it was her last brain cell. She knew this wasn't just some casual tea party, it was a full-blown boss battle. 3 days later, our queen rolled up to the palace in her imperial carriage, slaying as usual. The chrysanthemum banquet was being held in the west garden of Kunning Palace, aka the Empress's absolute fave garden spot. And when our baddie arrived, the garden was already buzzing. Basically, every single it girl and it mom from the capital was already there. Her entrance, it was like dropping a mic at a silent auction, all eyes on her, obviously. She followed the palace maid, coolly strutting to her designated spot. And where was her seat? Oh, just prime real estate front and center. This was clearly the Empress's VIP treatment, a huge honor. Or, throwing our girl right into the lion's den. Same diff. Isn't that and he Xiangjin? Talk about acting all high and mighty, geez. A voice sweet as poison ivy rang out from behind her. It was Sun Waner, daughter of the Minister of War. Her dad and that trash ex, Xiao Zhen, were tight, both from the general's faction. Figures. She was clearly here to stir the pot, surrounded by her little mean girl posse, all fanning themselves and ready for a show. But our girl, unfazed, she just flashed her a sweet smile. Oh, Miss Sun, you jest. Han Yue's little reputation hardly qualifies as imposing. It's just His Majesty's benevolence, taking pity on a humble subject, that grants me this slight bit of face. Sun Waner clearly didn't expect our girl to parry so smoothly. She was speechless. Just as the air thickened with awkward silence, a piercing announcement cut through the noise. Her Imperial Majesty, the Empress, has arrived. Everyone scrambled to their feet, then simultaneously dropped to their knees, in a flurry of bows. Our girl knelt with the rest, catching a glimpse of a dazzling yellow phoenix robe from the corner of her eye. It stopped right in front of her. A perfectly manicured hand, adorned with glittering nail guards, gently helped her to her feet. You must be He Xiangjun. Please rise. This Empress has long wished to meet such an extraordinary and benevolent lady. And seeing you today, your aura is truly exceptional. Under the collective, judging gaze of every noble lady and miss, the Empress just bestowed upon our girl a super exclusive favor. Our girl knew this Hongmen banquet was just getting started. This Empress has heard that you've managed the Mercy Hall with such order. Not only have you provided food and clothing for those orphans and widows, but you've also invited teachers to educate the children in reading and writing. Is this true? Your Majesty, it is indeed true. This humble subject believes it's better to teach a man to fish than to give him one. Money eventually runs out, but if they can learn a skill and study the classics, only then can they truly establish themselves and repay the nation. To give a man a fish is not as good as teaching him to fish. This Empress has never heard such a profound saying. It's clear you possess not only a benevolent heart, but also incredible foresight. Xiangjin truly is amazing, but the Mercy Hall has over 300 mouths to feed. The daily expenses must be quite the sum. One wonders where all that silver comes from, Sun Waner, seizing her moment, rose to imply shady origins for the funds, hinting our girl was reckless and maybe even dipped into the Grand Tutor's public coffers. The audacity! Our queen, unhurried, calmly pulled a ledger from her sleeve. This is the ledger I meticulously prepared for the Mercy Hall, detailing every single income, expenditure, and its source. Your Majesty, please take a look. The Empress scanned it, her smile deepening. Such meticulous actions, clear accounts. It's evident you didn't act on a whim, but truly poured your heart into this matter. Sun Waner, thoroughly face-slapped, grudgingly plopped back down, and the party's vibe went right back to cheerful. Just then, an elder madam sitting opposite her suddenly raised her cup. She was the princess consort of Prince Rui, the late emperor's sister-in-law, basically super VIP. And He Xiangjun, this old woman humbly dares to ask a question. She inquired about the cause of the general's mansion incident that day, specifically if a young lady named Liu Yue was involved. That name, it brings to mind an old story for this humble woman. She recalled that over a decade ago, the Jiangnan Salt Transport Commissioner, Liu Chengji, was implicated in a massive corruption case. His entire clan, 9 generations strong, was exterminated, save for a small daughter who vanished. Wait, if Liu Yue is actually Envoy Yan Wuxi's daughter, was her whole flirt fest with Xiaos really just pure innocent love? Or is there a whole decades-long revenge plot brewing behind all this drama? By the time we got back to the Grand Tutor's estate, it was already dusk. Our girl went straight to her dad's study. So, did everything go smoothly at the palace today? Our girl spilled all the palace tea, especially the deets about her convo with Rui Wangfei. Her dad remembered it, an old case from 15 years ago that legit shook the whole court and dragged a ton of people down. Her dad got up, went to the bookshelf, and pulled out a mysterious black iron box from the top shelf. This is a copy of the case file left by Mao Si, the imperial censor who oversaw it back then. If General Estates Liu Yeru is really Liu Chengji's daughter, then her intentionally getting close to Xiaoce? Absolutely no way, it was just pure love. Our girl and her dad exchanged glances. Deep down they both knew the vibe had shifted, hard. This isn't just some messy broken engagement anymore. This is giving full-blown political conspiracy, a power struggle rocking Hiye itself. We need to get to the bottom of this, like yesterday. No more sitting around doing nothing. Our girl's brain went 200 IQ. We gotta split up. First, send trustworthy people to Jiangnan ASAP to verify Liu Yeru's real identity. Second, we need to revisit this salt embezzlement case. Whoever profited the most back then, they're probably the real puppet master. Her dad nodded, impressed. Alright, the Jiangnan situation? I got this. I know how to dig. But here in the capital, we need to extract some juicy intel straight from Liu Yeru herself. Our girl looked out the window as darkness fell, a chill spreading through her heart. Originally, our girl just wanted Xiaoce and Liu Yeru to get their karma and watch their reputations tank. But now, she's got a bigger, nastier target in her sights. Inside the General Estate's woodshed, it was giving dark, damp, and utterly miserable. Liu Yeru was huddled in a corner, amidst a pile of dry firewood. She'd been locked in here for 3 days, totally bewildered why her life had become this. The heavy wooden door creaked open, and Xiaoce stepped in. Liu Yeru's heart instantly sparked with a tiny bit of hope. Xiao Jie, you finally came. I knew you wouldn't just abandon me, right? Please, hurry and take me away from here. Xiaoce didn't budge, just stared at her with eyes colder than a winter storm. Go where, exactly? So you can go scam another idiot just like I was? Xiao Jie, what are you even talking about? I'm asking you, 15 years ago, who exactly was Jiangnan envoy Yan Liu Chengju to you? I don't know him. What are you even saying? Don't know him, huh? Xiaoce let out a chilling self-mocking laugh. You're still putting on an act, even now? You got close to me, charmed me. It was all just to use me, wasn't it? Liu Yeru fell into complete despair. She knew it was over. Everything he said, spot on. Liu Chengji is my father. He wasn't some corrupt official. He was framed. She snarled at Xiaoce, pure hatred in her eyes. I just saw you as a stepping stone, a tool to help me find my enemies. Xiaoce's heart felt like it was being ripped to shreds. Where is that 3 million taels of tax salt now? Get me out of here. Help me find the real enemy from back then. And I'll tell you exactly where that money is. That's a fortune big enough to buy an entire country, enough for you to rise again, stronger than ever. Xiaoce stood tall, staring at the woman he once loved down to his bones. Now he hated her just as deeply. Liu Yeru, I won't save you, but I will find the enemy who framed your father back then. His voice was terrifyingly calm. Because I want all of you to burn in hell, together. With that, he turned and walked out of the woodshed, never looking back. The door slammed shut behind him, locking Liu Yeru's last shred of hope in eternal darkness. After leaving that uncomfy woodshed, Xiaoce went straight to the Grand Tutor's manor. He handed over a letter and a package to the Shen family's gatekeeper, then without a single word, just walked away. Iconic. That letter was speed-run straight into our FL's dad's hands. Inside, Xiaoce had spilled all the tea about his convo with Liu Yeru, and the package? It held Liu Yeru's personal seal, the ultimate proof of her true identity. Meanwhile, the spies sent to Jiangnan confirmed Liu Yeru's identity, and dug up that the biggest winner from the Liu Chengji case all those years ago was none other than the current Minister of War. Shady! Back then, he was just some measly 7th-rank official, but now, he's a big shot in the imperial court, practically BFFs with the emperor. Suspicious much? And guess what? His entire empire was built on 3 million tales of the common folk's blood, sweat, and tears and hundreds of lost lives. Gross. Dad, we've got Liu Yeru's testimony and the Jiangnan investigation results. This is totally enough to lay it all out for His Majesty. But honey, these are all just indirect clues, her dad said. To truly take him down in one fatal blow, we need solid physical evidence. We gotta find where those 3 million taels of salt tax actually went. He's definitely hidden it somewhere no one would ever suspect, or maybe converted it into some other form of assets. Hanyu, do you remember that fancy antique appraisal party you went to? The Minister of War's wife, wasn't she there too?
Yes, she was.
She even paid a ridiculous price for that ancient painting of 100 birds paying of a homage to the phoenix from the previous dynasty. Investigate all the major transaction records from the Minister of War's manor from recent years. Especially any valuable antiques traded through shady underground banks and the black market. You know the drill. Once we find his transaction ledgers, honey, that's gonna be the ultimate undeniable proof. So a larger, more intense investigation was quickly launched. The tea was brewing. The intelligence network the Shen family had meticulously built up over years proved its immense power. Girl boss energy, activated. Just 3 days later, our people successfully unearthed the ledger, detailing all the Minister of War's shady transactions over years. Boom! Every single transaction was meticulously recorded. This dude loved his paperwork. And the grand total? It was scarily close to the exact amount of salt tax that vanished all those years ago. Coincidence? I think not. Early the next morning, even before the sun dared to peak, our FL's dad marched into court with that ledger. Get him, king! A storm was brewing, one big enough to flip the entire imperial court upside down. We loved to see it. That morning court session was definitely going down in the history books. Popcorn? Anyone? Inside the Golden Luan Hall, stiff with solemnity, our FL's dad held up his memorial, his voice ringing out like a brass bell. Chills. Your subject has something to report. I wish to impeach the Minister of War. Everyone's eyes snapped to our FL's dad and the accused minister. The minister, fuming, immediately shot back. You're slandering me. Just because we disagree, you use these despicable tactics to frame me? What are you trying to do? Lord Sun, her dad coolly countered. Do you dare explain, right here before His Majesty, this ledger detailing transactions of 3 million taels of silver between you and the capital's largest black market? Checkmate. That number hit everyone present like a literal lightning bolt. Jaw-dropping much? It was the colossal sum of money that vanished during that infamous Jiangnan salt embezzlement case 15 years ago. The Minister of War's face went pale, cold sweat instantly drenching his robes. He knew it. It was game over. Guards, seize the Minister of War and throw him into the imperial prison. He awaits trial, and this case must be investigated to its absolute end. I want to see just how many more corrupt maggots are infesting my imperial court. The emperor was not messing around. The Minister of War tried to argue back, but he was quickly overpowered by the imperial guard amidst the chaos, and pathetically dragged out like the trash he was. Bye, Felicia. After the whole drama ended, the emperor summoned our FL privately to the imperial study. Ooh, what's he gonna say? And he, the emperor said, you and the Grand Tutor have rendered great service to the country. Tell me, what reward do you desire? To share your majesty's worries and protect the people from harm is but this subject's duty, our queen humbly replied. I dare not ask for any rewards. However, she continued, this subject has but one humble plea. I earnestly beg your majesty to bring Shen Hall into the imperial court's official establishment. Each year, the imperial treasury will allocate a special fund so that all the families of soldiers who sacrificed for the country will no longer have to worry about their livelihoods. A true girl boss. The emperor's eyes were filled with so much praise and affection for our FL. He not only agreed to her request but also bestowed upon her the title of Princess Anhe. She's literally doing it all. From then on, our FL became the first woman in the entire history of Dayong to be granted the title of County Princess. Take that, patriarchy. And as for those who once caused nothing but drama in our FL's life, well, they all got their just desserts. Liu Yeru was sentenced to life imprisonment, shipped off to Jing'an Temple outside the capital, forever repenting for all the green tea shenanigans she pulled. Good riddance. Xiao Sei meanwhile submitted a confession to His Majesty, voluntarily renouncing all his titles and requesting to guard the imperial tombs for the former emperors. He actually learned his lesson. It was a truly beautiful sunny afternoon. Our FL stood in Xian Hall's courtyard, watching the children play freely in the sunlight, a truly carefree smile gracing her face. She deserves it. Princess, someone murmured, look how wonderful these days are. Yes, our FL replied, these days truly are wonderful. Our girl finally understood. A woman's worth is never about snagging a good man, it's about finding the power within herself, the woman who was once discarded, and showing them all what she's truly made of. Preach! What was once her humiliation actually became her stepping stone, helping her launch herself into a much wider, brighter Xiaoce Liu Yeru. Honestly, they're just background noise from another life. But our queen's epic main character era, it's just hitting start.